So the progress today on the 58 would include sending the leaf springs out to be repaired. The driver's side one was one fewer leaf than the passenger side, so this was sent out, had a new leaf added in, re-arched to match the 6-leaf passenger side, so the car should sit level now. Just got them installed, put the KYB gas shocks in, hooked everything back up, and next step is to test fit again the rear tires. Looks like we're going to be able to squeeze a 255/50/17 using the Nitto NT 555s. It's a decent tire, but they do come in the sizes that I want, and they're really priced right. So we ended up, if I didn't have this on video previously, the American Racing Torque Thrust 2 with the powder coated chrome-like finish, 17/8. So we were real close on these fender wells. I tried the 245s first. 255s just barely squeak in. Real close on the inner fender. I may have to roll these a bit more than they've already have been. But just for now, the tires will fit. And we'll see how close they get when we start driving this thing. But I won't have any issue rolling these fenders if I have to. We got all the tires mounted and balanced, and the 255/50s bolted onto the rear. It's hanging now, so it looks like a better fit than it actually is. It's actually real tight, but it does fit with the weight of the car on the wheels. I can just get my fingers by the sidewall, and I may have to roll the fender a little bit closer to the back here, depending on how far the tire stuffs up inside. But the 255s do fit. If anyone's trying this fitment on a 57, 58, 59 Ford, these American Racing wheels are 17/8 with a plus 8mm backspace, offset rather, plus 8mm offset. So that's approximately a 4 3/4 inch backspace, so a little bit more than the standard 4.5. If this was a 5-inch backspace, I could probably fit a 265 series tire back here, because I have a good inch clearance on the spring. And going with the 17-inch wheel in a square profile tire also helps, because it doesn't bulge out as much on the sidewall. So very happy with that. Moving to the front, we've got the 245/45/17s, be a centimeter more narrow and about 1.5 centimeters to 2 centimeters shorter. Give that nice hot rod look to it. I'm taking the old shocks out and putting some new KYB gas shocks in the front. The car had these coil over load levelers in the front, and they're actually not in bad shape. They actually still look like pretty close to new. Bushing's a bit dried out, but I definitely don't want the added height and the stiffness of the ride, so I'm anxious to see how far the nose will go down on the car once I take these out and put a standard gas shock in there. And that will tell me what I have to do for spindles and disc brakes. I may not have to go to the 2.5-inch drop spindles if this thing settles down to a nice height. So let's get these front shocks in, bolt on the front wheels, and see how it looks. So I'm in the middle of installing the front KYB gas shocks. And just a note to anyone else using this shock in the front of the old Fords, the holes on the bottom of the shock, the crossbar there, do not line up with the holes in the lower control arm in the old Ford 58 in particular. So simple fix, just get a grinding wheel and just turn the holes into slots and it'll fit right in there. So I got the car sitting on all 4 wheels. All the shocks are in, the springs are all the way there supposed to be. The car's sitting level side to side now. A little high in the front, but it does have a nice little rake. Have to see how it looks with the rest of the sheet metal on the front and the bumper. See if it comes down a little bit before I decide whether I'm going to drop it or not. But with the front wheels on, those 255s, you can see how close they are to the fender. Probably less than a finger width away from the fender. It shouldn't be an issue. I've got all new bushings in the springs. But I'm going to roll that fender just a little bit more before I start driving this. But now that I see the stance, I'm pretty happy with it. If the front comes down maybe another ½ inch, I'll be even happier. So let's get this back together and see how it sits.